Hey there, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the Saturday night hockey show. It's just me tonight. Travis Aurednik is having a party this evening, Pride party. So happy Pride, and hope that goes well for him. Um, uh, so we are firmly in the middle of two semifinal series, and they're both at two games to one results at this point. And I'm one series has surprised me, and the other one is, kinda going as I thought it was. I thought it would, but, maybe not in the order that I thought it would. So, let's go ahead and let me share my, screen here. Microsoft Edge tab, and there we go. The Stanley Cup playoffs. Bring myself back into the screen so you can look at my ugly face. There we go. Alright, so Vegas and Montreal. This series is at 2 games to one for Montreal, which incredibly surprises me. And we'll get into the series here in a moment. And then Tampa Bay leads 2 games to one on the other series. One thing I haven't really thought about, at the end of this series is when we hand out the trophies for conference champions, and we really haven't had conferences this year. It was reseeded, so Vegas got the finishing with the best points record got the Montreal Canadiens, while the Tampa Bay Lightning will hosting the New York Islanders. I don't know who if they're going to pass out the Wales and Campbell Conference trophies this year. I assume that they will. I just don't know which side of the bracket gets the Wales and which side gets the Campbell Conference trophy. And of course, as we wind down the rest of this week, we'll see the results of these two series come up, and we should have maybe by the time we convene next week, we'll talk about the Stanley Cup final matchup, which will be exciting. But we'll also see if either team touches the trophy. I don't put too much stock in the superstition about don't touch the conference champion trophy, but I know some people do, and it becomes a big deal. But anyway, let's dive into the two series. This is going to be a shorter episode, just because as we get fewer and fewer teams in the playoffs, there's just less and less to talk about, and it's really just focused on these series. And there's a few key things that we need to talk about. So with this Vegas and Montreal series, um, like I said, I'm shocked that Montreal has not only held their own in this series, but actually been the more aggressive team and hold a 2 game to one series. I predicted this was going to be a 5 game series in favor of Vegas, so I'm already wrong in that respect. Even if Vegas does come back to win, um, uh, you know, some of the things I've noticed in this series is that Montreal is completely in Marc Andre Fleury's kitchen. They have been much more aggressive. While the Knights really haven't gotten into Carey Price's face yet. I expect that to change tonight. Their game is the game this evening. Or I'm sorry, no, it's the Tampa. Let me make sure. No, it's Tampa and the Islanders this evening. We'll talk about that in a moment. But tomorrow night's game will be very pivotal. I expect Vegas to really come out flying tomorrow night. Um, they are the more skilled team. Uh, I just don't think that Vegas has taken Montreal seriously enough, because the popular wisdom was that the Vegas Golden Knights were far superior, and that Montreal is just kind of a ragtag team that barely made the playoffs in the Northern Division, and just a but how they handled Toronto, and how they handled Winnipeg without with a sweep should have put Vegas on notice. Yes, again, Vegas is the much more uh, skilled team. They've got everything better. You could even say in the goaltending department, Marc Andre Fleury and uh, it- that tandem there have been better this year than Carey Price. Carey Price was injured, missed some time. Uh, they weren't relying on him that well. Jake Allen had stepped up in some points of the season, um, but they've really gelled. And I've heard quite a few hockey pundits talk about how the Canadians have really been built for the playoffs, and we're seeing it right now. Sometimes you get a team that's short on talent that does make a run like this. I'm not going to call them the Miracle on Ice or Hoosiers or anything like that. But sometimes teams that are short on talent of the teams that they're facing get by through chemistry and players really sticking to their roles and playing their roles to the best of their ability. Sometimes with teams without talent, it it gets scrambly, and their players don't play their position, or they feel like they have to make up for someone else's deficiencies, so they get out of position, and that's when goals get scored. Montreal's not doing that, and they're capitalizing on a lot of miscues by the Vegas Golden Knights. In fact, Game 3 was tied due to just an awful miscue by Marc Andre Fleury, who allowed the puck to get past him in front of the net, and Josh Anderson just had basically a slam dunk to put the puck in the net. So you know, let's see how Game 4 rolls out. If Montreal gets up on this game's in Montreal. If Montreal gets up on Vegas 3 games to 1, this I don't foresee Vegas. I mean, Vegas could, but I don't really foresee them rolling off 3 straight wins to win the series. Um, I think they could make it close, but I just think that Montreal right now has the momentum. They have the chemistry. They have players playing the right roles, except for um, Eric Stahl. He had a horrible giveaway last night, which was kind of fun to watch with being a former Saber, but I digress. Um, let's see what else for this series. Oh, Cole Caulfield. I will sing his praises all day long. This kid was amazing for the Team USA at the beginning of January for the when they made their run through the World Junior Championships. Um, he had a good season in what is it, Minnesota or Wisconsin, whatever school he was at. Things get signed at the end of the season. This kid's going to be eligible for the Calder Trophy next year. Um, because he only played a handful of games at the end of the season and proved his worth at the end of the season. And for some unexplicable reason, the Toronto Maple Leafs series, they didn't play him until like game 3 or 4, and immediately made impacts in that series. That Toronto series may not have been as close as it was had he played in the first 3 games of that series. But yeah, he's amazing. He continues to contribute. He continues to make that top line work. And Montreal's got a gem with this kid. I'm completely impressed by him. So let's move over to the other side of the bracket. Tampa Bay leads their series 2 games to 1. This is going. I said earlier, this is the series that is going about how I thought it would. I would not have been surprised to see a 2-1 result last week when we talked. Um, it did not go the way in the order that I expected. I expected Tampa to hold serve um, on their home ice, but the Islanders got that game 1 victory, and it seemed to have sparked the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have reeled off a couple of straight wins. Um, so Islanders won game 1. Tampa's won the last 2 games. Tampa won game 3, and if I'm an Islanders fan, I would be concerned in how they won that game. Game 2 was more of a Tampa style game, and they were pretty comfortable in a 4-2 victory. Um, but game 3 was a 2-1, played almost entirely in the Isles style of game. The Islanders had um, a lot of work. They did, they were working the puck, they were working the corners. Nassau Coliseum was jumping, and it's been a buzz saw this entire uh, playoff run. Teams have kind of wilted in that environment. and the Lightning used the Islanders game to beat them 2-1 in their own building. So if I'm an Islanders fan, I'm very concerned because that's their game, and how do they come back from that 2-1 loss? It's not all lost. I mean, tonight, if the Islanders come back and win tonight's game, then we're pretty much where we thought we would be at this point. A split series, basically a 3-game series as we move forward. I still see Tampa taking this in 6 games, but one of the developments we've been hearing about the last couple of days is that perhaps Oliver Wallstrom will factor into this series, factor into Game 4. He had been on the bench the first few games of the series, so can the Islanders get the same kind of magic that the Montreal Canadiens have with Cole Caulfield with Oliver Wahlstrom? Wahlstrom's an older player, but is also a rookie and kind of an unknown factor at this point. Or does the situation get to Oliver Wahlstrom and be a net negative on the Islanders, and puts the series at 3-1? And at that, this is a must-win game for the Islanders. If they don't win this game, if they're down 3-1 going back to Tampa, I do not see them winning 3 straight games. 2 of those being in Tampa. So this is a must-win for the Islanders to win this series. My feeling is they're going to have to just kind of make a run now, win tonight, and win the next game in Tampa, and then come back and try and get that win in Nassau in Game 6. Uh, but it's very hard for me to see that happening. The Lightning do seem to be getting stronger as we go along in this playoffs, which is scary because uh, you know Nikita Kucherov has 18 assists, 23 points in this playoffs after not playing a single game this season. And again, a lot of people have been harping on that fact because Kuch, the Lightning have been were able to basically circumvent the cap rules to be able to bring him back in for the playoffs. But for not playing for several months and then just play that level in the playoffs is absolutely amazing. I mean, he's leaving scorer and 18 assists in like what's 7 11 games for 12, well, probably 15 games now, but still 18 assists in less than 18 games, plus the 5 goals he has on top of that to make their offense, their power play, just absolutely deadly. Um, Kudos to him. So those are the 2 series. Again, tonight is Tampa and the Islanders, and we'll hope to see see where the series goes from here. Again, if it's Tampa winning, it's going to be a very short series. The Islanders win, we'll see a few more games here. Um, Again, I think Vegas, if they lose tonight or lose tomorrow night, um, it's not over for them. They do have the firepower to come back in that series. I just don't see them ripping off three state against Montreal the way that Montreal's playing right now. But it's not as dire a situation for Vegas as it is for the Islanders to go down 3-1. All right, the other big news this week is that the Stanley Cup or the NHL has been announcing their awards. So let's go to the award screen here, and so the awards that have been given out this week. We see the King Clancy Memorial Trophy, which is for humanitarian contributions to the community, was given to Pecorine for his work in the Nashville community. I did not pick that one. I picked, I believe, PK Subban because he basically is kind of the normal King Clancy winner. He does just unbelievable amounts of humanitarian work. But if Pecorine could beat out PK Subban, hats off to him. Great job. The Bill Masterton Memorial Award went to Oscar Lindblom. Bill Masterton Trophy is named after the last player to die as a result of on ice injuries. And it's given to the player that it shows dedication to hockey, coming back from difficult circumstances. And Lindblom survived cancer. He went through cancer treatment, and he came out on the other side and played this season. So kudos to him. I predicted that would be the winner of this award, and I think it was pretty comfortable in the margin that he was given that award. Um, one of one of the awards that we didn't talk about last week was the Willie O'Ree Community Service Award or Community Hero Award. Um, yeah, so it's a really award for community hero. It was awarded to a guy named Kevin Hodgson who runs a program called Heroes in Canada. I guess it goes across Canada, but I think he's based out of Alberta. Heroes is hero hockey education reaching out society. Um, it helps with at-risk youth and youth with physical and cognitive challenges to have access to playing hockey in an inclusive and safe environment. So, kudos to him. That's great thing, and I'm glad that he was honored with that award. This is not one that they, like the NHL does with the three nominees. We'll look at the three nominees for some of the awards coming up this week and during the finals. But this one was just selected by Willie O'Ree using his committee, and uh, well uh, well earned award. So Jack Adams Award. I did not get this one right. I picked Dean Evison of the Minnesota Wild because I thought he did a better coaching job taking a team that it was basically a bubble team. Uh, could have made the playoffs, but probably wouldn't do much, and turn them into a very competitive team in a very buzzsaw like Western Conference or Western Division. Um, Rob Brindamore started from a high level, and yeah, he did win that Central Division. The Central Division was very hard with Tampa and Florida as well, winning the President's Trophy. But I still think the job that Dean Evison did was a little bit better. But I can't disagree with the award too much on this one. Let's see. And then the Selkie Award was the last one that was awarded. I think Lady Bing will go Monday. But the Selkie Award was awarded to Sasha Barkov, which I called between Bergeron, Barkov, and I can't remember the other guy who was in that conversation. But Sasha Barkov is the reason why the Panthers have gone from a bubble playoff team to a very competitive hockey team. They haven't taken that next step. Um, they had a better regular season than they've had in years, but they still need to take that next step as far as the playoffs go. You can't keep getting bounced in the first round. You're going to have some changes at some point. But well earned trophy. I watched quite a few Panther games this year, and Barkov is a beast on the ice. He excels in both the forward uh, position and getting back on defense. Um, and look forward to him winning a few more of these trophies coming in the next few years. Let's say I did say Monday is the Lady Byng Trophy. So you got Austin Matthews, Jacob Slavin, and Jared Spurgeon, and the Jim Gregory General Manager of the Year Award. I believe goes Tuesday. That's Mark Bergeron, Lou Lamoriello, the Dark Lord, and Bill Zito. Um, Calder Memorial Trophy on Wednesday. That's the big one. For the rookie of the year. The My prediction on that one is Kirill Kaprizov between him, Alexander Nedeljkovic, and Jason Robertson of the Stars. The Hart Trophy. The last four here are going to be announced during the Stanley Cup Finals. That's the Hart Trophy, which is the most valuable player of the NHL, and that's between Nathan McKinnon, Austin Matthews, and Connor McDavid. And they should just go ahead and hand it to McDavid at this point. The James Norris Trophy, which is for the best defenseman in the NHL. That's between Adam Fox, Victor Hedman, and Cale Makar. My guess is it's going to go to Hedman. Makar is getting close. He'll be winning these trophies soon. Adam Fox might kind of be a nice rival to him, but for now, head and shoulders above the in the defensive conversation is Victor Hedman. The Ted Lindsay Award, which is the most outstanding player. So it seems like these are very similar awards: the MVP and the most outstanding player. The difference between these two awards is that the Hart is voted on by the media, the Hockey Writers Association media, and the most outstanding player is voted on by the players. It's kind of a player's choice award, and I've heard that players are more concerned about getting the Lindsay than they are the Hart because it is a stamp of approval from their peers. Both are awesome trophies. I wouldn't turn either one of them down. So, but the Lindsay Trophy is between Sidney Crosby, Austin Matthews, and Connor McDavid. And if you choose, say anyone besides McDavid, you need to re-examine your life and figure out where you've gone off the rails. Um, and then finally, the Vezina Award. That will be between Marc-Andre Fleury, Philip Grubauer, and Andre Vasilevsky. Um, this award, I'm predicting that it's going to go to Marc-Andre Fleury just for his body of work during the regular season. It's been a really good. This has been a really good competition because Vasilevsky's a beast. Grubauer played his best hockey in his career this year, and then Marc-Andre Fleury uh, uh, came back and took the reins of that team when it was a kind of a two-headed monster, uh, and he was kind of the 1A almost backup role. He really took the reins of this team and drove them towards the playoffs. And he's still working at it. But remember, all these awards were voted on prior to the start of the playoffs, so playoff performance does not factor in. The only other award that we'll talk about is after the when the Stanley Cup is won, they'll be giving out the oh man, I can't remember the name of the trophy. But anyway, they give it a playoff MVP trophy, and that's the only one that is factored on with all of the playoff trophies or with all the playoff games. So along with the, of course, Stanley Cup, and that's it for the trophies. Really, the only piece of news that I've been looking at this week is the Jack Eichel trade front. It looks like they're really just kind of heading steaming headlong into trading Jack Eichel at some point this season or some point this summer. The most intriguing thing that I've heard so far is that Anaheim is in the conversation now. Anaheim, like Buffalo, has been out of the playoffs a couple seasons, and well, Buffalo's been lot longer, but they unlike Buffalo, Anaheim's done really well in drafting. And the proposed trade that is being floated is Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale for Jack Eichel. And I'm sure there's probably going to be other pieces, parts involved, but that's kind of the principles involved. If I'm Buffalo, I do this. Trevor Zegras, I think, is going to be the same as Cole Caulfield, and that's great. Jamie Drysdale is going to be a stud on the back end. So yeah, if I'm you know if I'm Adams and this trade gets presented to me, and of course, depending on what the extras are involved, I would probably do this one. Um, it moves Buffalo beyond this. I think the relationship is irreparably damaged at this point. And if I'm Buffalo, I don't want him anywhere near the Eastern Conference for the next 5 years. So let him play his last pre no movement clause year in Anaheim. If Anaheim chooses to trade him back at the end of the year to the East Coast, then we can't do anything about that. But get a bevy of young, really talented players, and then move forward. My hope is that to get this trade done, that Adams doesn't toss in like something like our first overall pick this year. to get something like this done. If that's part of the deal, then no, 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 thank you. But we'll see. Um, but I'm just thinking that they've talked about getting rid of Rasmus Ristolainen. I don't want that to happen. I actually really like Ristolainen and his game and what he brings to the Sabres. But if you're talking the Sabres draft number one, Owen Power, um, as the big physical and offensively gifted defenseman. Uh, and then you have, of course, Rasmus Dahlin. Um, and then, you've got Jamie Drysdale and Rasmus Ristolainen. You've got four top flight defensemen. That's what you build a team off of. That's a that's a recipe for playoff success, if you ask me, with those type of defensemen leading the way. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this week. We will be back next week, hopefully talking about the Stanley Cup Finals, knowing at least one or both of our participants, and we'll have the answer to who touches which trophy, or if the trophies actually get handed out this season or not. So, but anyway, thanks for everyone for joining us, and we will talk to you all again next week.